Hello fellow submarine enthusiasts. This is my new project for the summer. You can see here what it looked like when I first built it. Now you can see there's been some big changes from then till now. The first change that I've made is I've removed the original leg tube. So my legs go in here when I'm sitting in the submarine. The original one, as you can see, is only 18 inches diameter and quite short. It didn't give me enough buoyancy to make the submarine stable, transitioning from being surfaced to being submerged. So I removed that last week and I welded this new tank on. This is a pressure vessel, 516-70 grade steel. So it's all good stuff. So I've reinforced it as well with an additional plate here. And now, this just arrived. This came from Calgary, from VAR Steel. They're fantastic. This is the reinforcing ring that actually goes inside right here. And it reinforces this opening that I've cut. The other big thing that I've done, I've removed the acrylic cylinder and I've remachined it. The surfaces needed to be remachined just to make sure that everything is just perfect. I built this submarine 8 years ago, so I just don't remember everything that was going on, so just making sure everything is good. So you can see I've got the acrylic cylinder mounted in the lathe. I now have to chuck it up, as they say. So I've got a 4-jaw chuck in here, and you can see that the acrylic cylinder is gigantic compared to the chuck. So I'm just going to put these wood spacers in. I had to sacrifice an extension and grind it down so that it fits into the mechanism that adjusts the jaws. And I put the lathe in neutral. Can you imagine if it turned on? Whoa. This is about the height. I can get 26 inches into the lathe with the gap removed. This is 25.5 inches, so it just fits. The gap is 12 inches long. Actually, it's 12.5. This is 12. Pretty darn lucky that it fits, I must say. The nice thing about this is I just need to make it true. It doesn't have to be perfectly square, like within thousandths of an inch. It just has to be true. This can take a really long time. Another one of the things that I've changed so far is I've built a new chassis right here. You can see these black pipes. I was really lucky and I actually had an A-frame from a trailer. All I had to do was narrow it and put a cross member in. I was done. Fantastic. So all the heavy parts, the ballast weight, mechanical arm, they all attach to the chassis. In the event of an emergency, I can drop this chassis. So I've made mounts in the back here, and these mounts just sit on top of the pipes, but they're locked in place. Same with the front. Up front here, I've made a mount. Again, it just locks onto the pipe, so when I release the chassis, the whole thing just falls right off. The submarine weighs hundreds of pounds less all of a sudden, shoots to the surface. Okay, so what's next? Next, I make the release mechanism that drops the chassis. I weld in this ring, and then I start making mounts for the ballast tanks. Once I'm finished those two little projects, I'm going to finish pressure washing and sandblasting the submarine hull. I actually started sandblasting it with a new water blaster attached to my pressure washer, but the pressure washer gave up the ghost, so I only got about 1/3 of the way finished. This week the new pressure washer is arriving, so we'll get this all pressure washed, clean off all the welds where I had to cut brackets off that I no longer need. Then we will reattach the acrylic cylinder, plug up the holes with threaded plugs, and throw it in a test pool just to get a feel for the weight and balance. And then we will proceed to fabricate ballast tanks and things like that. It's a little hard to predict all that without throwing it in the water just to see how it's going to go. So if this is of any interest, stay tuned. Ciao.